Hello, how ya doing? I'm Jeffrey Lee Folschinsky, your pilgrim of the poppycock, and I'm doing the hot diggity jig as I welcome you to this Thanksgiving episode of Meaningless Minutia, a show that sets out the cornucopia of codswallop and rings the dinner bell. And with that mental menu of mayhem laid out there, let's get down to this week's question. Did you know for Thanksgiving a president once pardoned a raccoon? I'm sure you heard of a Thanksgiving turkey being pardoned, but a raccoon? And if your mind was already going there, yes, the answer is the raccoon was on the menu for Thanksgiving dinner. And if your mind wasn't going there, well, the title of the show should have been fair warning. You see, in November 1926, a raccoon was sent by a couple from Mississippi to be enjoyed for Thanksgiving dinner. And before you jump to any southern stereotypes, raccoon was a common meat source for many Americans at that time. Fortunately for that little critter, the current president, Calvin Coolidge, and his wife Grace fell in love with it, deciding to pardon it and keep it as a pet, which they named Rebecca. Ironically, the newspapers at the time thought not eating that woodland creature was the strange thing about this story. And no, they weren't being sarcastic, in case you were wondering, as the Washington Evening Star made a point of commenting that raccoon was less fatty than most meats and tasted like it was a cross between chicken and pig, which basically meant they felt the president was missing out on some good eating. Coolidge and his wife were animal lovers, so the thought of actually enjoying Rebecca the raccoon as a meal never crossed their mind. Matter of fact, their love for animals was so well known that people used to send them animals as gifts all the time, which ran the gamut of the more traditional, such as cats and dogs, to the less traditional, such as 2 lions, which Coolidge named Tax Reduction, and Budget Bureau. They had so many animals that people began calling the White House the Pennsylvania Avenue Zoo. In the following years, Rebecca became a star of such White House events as the annual Easter egg roll. Now, if you're like me and you had no idea what an Easter egg roll was, to save you from Googling it, it's a race where children would push eggs with spoons from one end of the White House lawn to the other. And if you already knew that, well, look at you, Mr. or Mrs. La-ti-da Smarty type person. Anyway, not all was well with her furry companion, as Rebecca had a talent for escaping out of her confines and going on adventures. This happened so often that the staff and Secret Service nicknamed her the White House Houdini. These escapes happened so often that towards the end of his term, President Coolidge and his wife finally donated her with several of their other animals to what eventually became the National Zoo. Now, if you're wondering why pardoning a raccoon isn't an annual tradition, well, that's most likely due to the District of Columbia making raccoons as pets illegal, which you either could read into that Rebecca was just one of a kind, or her adventures during her escapes just didn't go over well with the city. Okay, I can feel the mental turkey dinner of this show about to put you into a coma, so I best just stop there. But before I let you take a powder, let me hit you with this Mormon coffee drink. The day after Thanksgiving is the busiest time for plumbers. Just showing you whether it be turkey or raccoon, it all ends up in the same place in the end. And with that, I'm Jeffrey Lee Folschinsky saying, Happy Holidays, amigos.